Got a little housekeeping to go through on the agenda this evening. First would be the approval of the meeting minutes from March 21st. Chair would entertain a motion that we move that to next month, as that Heidi hasn't had a chance to put those together yet.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion carries. Okay, as far as the appeals go this evening, Steve, would you like this individually?
Yeah, you should.
Okay.
Yep.
Brasky is going to go to municipal court to plead their case. So Chair would entertain a motion that we table Brasky
Correct.
for the time being.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion passes 6-0. Again, Brasky, this one is 7 Ashton Lane as opposed to 28 Hope Lane, is going to municipal court. So Chair would entertain a motion that we table Brasky.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion carries 6-0. And also McDavitt is going to 16 Lincoln Way, is going to plead their case in court. So Chair would entertain a motion that we table McDavitt.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries 6-0. Rahani is being, Chair would entertain a motion that we move Rahani to a date certain of
May 23rd?
May 23rd.
So continue with notice.
So moved.
Continue the matter with notice.
Yes.
So they're gonna, Mike's gonna renotice everything.
Oh, with notice, okay,
Yes.
yes.
So moved.
Second.
Any motion has been made and properly seconded, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries 6-0. So if you're here for any of the appeals this evening, Mr.
Thank you very
Markey,
much.
You're welcome. Have a great night.
You too.
We will not be hearing them. All right, as far as the public hearings go, Eastside LLC moved to a date certain. Chair would entertain a motion to move to a date certain of May 23rd.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, that motion carries 6-0. And Murphy has withdrawn. Steve, do you need a you don't need a
No,
motion on
not
that?
if it's which
So Murphy, no, apparently came through, they don't need it, any relief from this board, so Murphy is off. So we've got O'Neill, Felthausen, and Valavarelli. So, first one we were here, O'Neill is down for decision only. We've taken testimony, so what is the board's pleasure in regards to O'Neill?
Chairman, members of the board, with respect to the application of James and Ann O'Neill seeking a 10-foot left side yard variance from the dimensional regulations of section 6.4 of the zoning ordinance to construct a garage outbuilding with a furnished second story and attached covered walkway, I would make the following findings of fact. I would incorporate the facts set forth in the project summary, O'Neill Tax Assessor's Plat NJ Lot 18 for the location at 155 Cliff Drive, which is dated December 14, 2023, as well as all of the associated documents that were submitted in support of the application by the applicant. The planning board of the town of Narragansett found the application complete and in conformance with the comprehensive plan of Narragansett and recommended that the application for a variance by this board be approved by a unanimous 5-0 vote. During the evidentiary hearing held on March 21st, 2024. Jill, is that the correct date? March 21st?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. The following witnesses testified both in support and in opposition to the application. Patrick Freeman testified as an expert witness and a registered professional engineer. Kelsey O'Neill, I believe Dumville, which is the daughter of the applicant, testified. She also read a letter authored by her mother, who is the applicant. Christine Kubris, a member and director of the Anawan Cliffs Homeowners Association, testified. Laura Krikorian testified as an expert witness, licensed in architecture, and testified on behalf of the Homeowners Association. James Grace, a resident of Anawan Cliffs, testified. He also submitted 8 letters from objectors. John Sorenberger also testified, and he lives in Anawan Cliffs. And Karen Grace also testified. She lives in Anawan Cliffs. All of the testimony of the foregoing witnesses and documents submitted by them is set forth in the stenographic record, and I would move that they be made a part of the findings of fact. That concludes my findings of fact.
I'll second.
All right, for the purposes of public knowledge, I guess, Chris Allman sat, actually all 7 of us sat on this, but Chris is not here this evening, so Christine, you're voting on this issue. So a motion has been made and properly seconded to enter the findings of fact into the record. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries 5-0.
Chairman and members of the board, I would move to grant the dimensional variance to allow a 10-foot left side yard dimensional variance to construct a garage outbuilding with finished 2-story and attached covered walkway for the following reasons. The testimony and evidence adduced at the hearing, although imposed in part during the hearing, supports all of the elements necessary for the granting of a dimensional variance. The project site has a very unique characteristic of it being a coastal lot subject to the 200-foot CRMC setback, which virtually eliminates at least 2/3 or more of the lot's buildable area. In addition, and important to the application, is that the applicant's property is a corner lot. The vast majority of it, its northern border, is abutted by a vacant lot. Here, the hardship to the applicant is the result of the lot's proximity to the coastal feature in the water, the fact that it is a corner lot, and the fact that the other geographical alternatives for the placement of the proposed garage are not feasible, and additionally not necessarily aesthetically pleasing based upon the testimony adduced at the hearing. Furthermore, placement of the garage as proposed by the applicant limits or minimizes the hardship associated with the applicant's entry to and exit from the garage with vehicles, basically because of the configuration of the garage that's currently existing at the property. The hardship imposed upon the applicant is primarily due, as I said, to the unique coastal characteristics of this coastal lot, it being a corner lot, and is not the result of any prior action of the applicant. The home has been in the applicant's family for 47 years, and its structure, modest in terms of other homes in Anawan Cliffs, seeks to encroach on the setback as little as possible and in an area which is confined by the northwestern corner of the property. Thus, the hardship is not the result of any prior action of the applicant and does not result from the desire of the applicant to realize financial gain. Granting of the variance will not alter in any respect the general character of the surrounding area, and this notion is supported by the planning board's support for the application. In fact, as I said, this finding was made by the planning board in its 5-0 unanimous decision to recommend approval of the variance. Granting the variance will serve the purpose of increasing storage space for the applicants and provide another area for their growing family to play, as was testified to by the applicant's daughter. Thus, the variance will not alter the general characteristics of the area and will not impair or the intent or purposes of the comprehensive plan or the zoning orders. Finally, due to the physical constraints of the lot, the relief requested is the least relief necessary. The lot is directly on the coast, bounded by the Atlantic Ocean to the east, Cliff Drive to the west, and Anawan Drive to the north. To the south is another lot with a very large home and outbuildings, which notably very likely encroach on the 35-foot side setback. Most of the northern border is bounded by a vacant lot owned by the homeowners association. Nothing about the proposed garage or requirement for a variance impedes any view corridors. In fact, the applicants, as a gesture of good faith to its neighbors, spent considerable time showing neighbors their plans and seeking their input. Of note, the applicants could have constructed their proposed garage to a height of 35 feet. However, as a result of input from neighbors, agreed to a height of 23 feet, rather modest in Anawan Cliffs, and also in an effort, I suppose, to not block any view corridors. Applicants' engineer opined that practically placing the garage in the proposed location was the only feasible location because of the need for a rain garden, and movement towards the west would encroach on the front yard setbacks. The granting of the variance will have no impact on the so-called Anawan right-of-way, which will remain unimpeded for both vehicles and pedestrian traffic. Finally, the hardship that will be suffered by the applicant, if the variance is not granted, will amount to more than a mere inconvenience. The purpose of the modest, by Anawan Cliff standards, garage is to accommodate the applicant's needs of their growing family so that the O'Neill family can continue to use the property for the next 50 years. To reiterate, the placement of the garage also eliminates ingress and egress issues posed by the construction of the garage within the setback, which poses potential dangers for the applicants, their guests, and children. And the variance will not have any impact whatsoever on the neighboring properties.
A second.
A motion has been made and properly seconded to grant the relief requested. Do we need to, do you want to just add the conditions?
No,
Not,
there
you don't
are.
have to, you don't have
Yes,
to.
you did,
do
Mr.
that,
Chairman.
but For Jill's edification.
Yeah, there are conditions set forth in the December 14, 2023 project summary, conditions 1 through 5 that I would incorporate within my motion to grant the variance.
I'll amend my second.
Okay, the motion's been made and properly seconded. To grant the relief requested with conditions. Is there any discussion? Anyone? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion?
Two opposed.
I'm opposed.
You're opposed? All right, so with 3-2, is that?
3-2 is a win, is the motion passes.
Motion passes. Okay.
Nay.
So I'm gonna entertain your motion.
So you all set?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and thank you for taking so much time to hear this matter. I know we took up a lot at your last meeting. Thank you for the time that I'm sure all of you put in to consider this application here tonight. Thank you for volunteering your time.
Thank you.
I second that.
Thank you.
May I ask you a question, please?
No, there's nothing to,
Why not?
why not?
No. With all due respect, why not?
The matter is closed.
Yes.
Move on.
Okay.
I did not answer your question.
All right, next item on the agenda,
No, thank you.
next item on the agenda is Feldhausen, Talbot / Knowles Camp.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Howard Drew. I'm here tonight as, in my capacity as one of the owners of Knowles Camp. Just a brief history. We're
Howard,
inter-
you need to raise your right hand and be sworn. Right hand, thank you.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and spell your last.
Howard Drew, T-R-O-O-B.
Thank you.
I'm here tonight as one of the owners of Knowles Camp. Just historically, we're entering our 95th year of existence down in Point Judith, and we've come a long way from the tents on the beach. In 2007, we entered into a master agreement with the town of Narragansett on how to convert all the tents and trailers and shacks into beautiful, compact little homes. And we're here tonight because we want to rebuild another one, and I'm here to answer any questions that you might have.
Been a while since we've seen one.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, it has been a while.
Mr. Tripp, can you just, why don't you tell the board a little bit about the project?
The house, the unit that we're replacing was Unit 87. It was demolished in 2012. Permission was granted to rebuild at that point in 2013. It was never accomplished. That permit to build expired in 2017. We're at a point now where we would like to finish the conversion of the last few homes in the camp. And we have decided, even though we were given permission for a 1,024 square foot home, this one that we want to build is only 504 square feet. We're moving it farther away from the wetlands, and it accommodates that spot as best that we see fit. So we were just asking your permission to move forward with the project.
Mr. Tripp, you said 512 down to 504?
From 1,024 down to 504.
For the board members that aren't familiar with this, we've, this has been ongoing for 12, 15 years,
Yes, for a very long time.
right? For quite a while.
Mhm.
We've slowly been, well, we saw a slew of them a while back, and they've gone in and raised a lot of the houses and rebuilt them. So this, how many are left, Mr. Cruz?
6 are left.
That's it,
That's it.
out of a total
110.
of, yeah. So, we've been, periodically, we'll see these. So, and this project was, Wayne, what would you say? It was, did this go before, it was before your time, but did it go to the council? Or did it was just through the planning
It went
that
through the
this whole
coun-
process worked out to?
Yeah, it went through the council for the approval when they did the sewer lines.
Right.
Then they approved the master plan, but they never granted overall approval for these units. It said any replacement had to get a special use permit from the
Right.
zoning board after that. That's what prompted all of those to come forward.
Yep.
But this was approved for the E unit, and they've opted to reduce that almost in half to a smaller unit.
So this one, we actually heard this already at one point.
Was that?
Did, the board heard this at one point?
Yeah, there was a permit granted back in 2012.
17.
17, so yeah, there was a permit
Okay.
Well,
granted.
actually, 2013, it expired in 2017.
Okay. All right. Are there any questions for Mr. Chu? Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to clarify, it's not 504, it's 564. It's a hybrid, it's just a little bit bigger. We just want to put that for clarification.
Okay.
We spoke with the building official, and he's okay with it, because it's smaller than we originally.
Thank you.
Are these rental units or permanent?
These are permanent seasonal rentals. People purchase them, it's their personal property, their home, but they lease the land from us.
Is it required for them to be owner occupied, or can they rent it
Owner
out?
occupied, there is no subletting.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you, Mr. True.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Is there anyone that would like to speak in favor of this proposal? Is there anyone who is opposed that would like to speak? Okay. Chair would entertain a motion that we close this public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me. Opposed, that motion carries 5-0. In regards to Knowles Camp, what is the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, we have project summary dated March 20th, 2024. Project summary is Knowles Camp, tax assessors plat S1, lot 291. Location is 64 Burnside Avenue. In short, the applicant is looking to receive relief for a special use permit for a new reissued building permit for a hybrid B/564 unit at location of unit 87. We heard from Mr. True, who described the overall project itself. And we've done 116, excuse me, we've done 104, with 110 remaining to be built or to be replaced. The applicant is, planning board recommendations were 5-0 for complete and conformance, and recommendation for approval was 5-0. That concludes my findings of fact.
Get a second.
Second.
A motion. Thank you. A motion been made and properly seconded to enter the findings of fact into the record. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries 5-0.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to the same project summary, Knowles Camp dated March 20th, 2024, tax assessors plat S1, lot 291, 64 Burnside Avenue. The applicant is seeking relief from section 10.1, expansion of a non-conforming use by special use permit. Based upon the testimony and the previous multiple replacements, and the fact that we're reducing the size of the unit from almost in half, from 1,012 to 564, and moving the unit a little bit further away from the wetlands. My motion is to grant the relief requested.
Again, I'd love to have a second.
Second.
Thank you.
Oh, excuse me, motion been made and properly seconded to grant the relief requested with conditions. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, that motion carries 5-0. You're all set, Mr. Drew.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, finally, we have Paul O'Reilly. Tax Assessors Plat K, Lot 24-C, located at 14 Ashbrook Road.
Hi, I'm Judy Ballarelli, my husband Jen Ballarelli. We are the owners of 14 Ashbrook Road. We're here.
If you, would you both raise your right hand and be sworn, please?
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Now just state your name again for me.
Judy Ballarelli.
And your name, sir?
James Fallon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're here seeking relief in two areas. The front, to put a small porch, 6 feet wide, in front of our home, and additionally 0.2 feet, which is a couple, 2-point-something inches, on the side for an addition off the back, which will be a bedroom, which will be in alignment with the existing house. So the house that we purchased 24 years ago is already there at 9.8 feet, so we're just looking to go back. So it will be aesthetically nice looking, so we're not looking to have any crazy corners or anything. The house right now does not have an existing front porch. We have a disabled adult child who needs a wheelchair, and so we're looking for relief in the front to add a small porch, as small as we possibly can get. We were very careful with this so that we can have a 360 turn of the wheelchair through the front door. And we're here seeking relief, I guess in the form of a variance to start the construction. I do want to mention that this is our home. We don't rent. We've had it for 20-something years, 22, 23 years.
Actually, that really doesn't concern this board.
Okay.
I appreciate what you're saying, but
Okay, I know it came up in the other things about rentals.
if you own a piece of property in town, you have the right to rent it, so
Okay,
we don't control that.
thank you.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
Mr. and Mrs. Valerelli, I did notice on, this is just curious, you do have a handicap occupant of the house, full-time occupant of the house?
No, we're not full-time occupants. Our full-time residence is in New York.
Oh, okay, so, but when you're here, you're full-time? The person who needs the wheelchair is here full-time with you also?
Always.
I noticed that there's no ramp, but that there's still
Right.
steps.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up, and I did address it several times after the last meeting on March 21st, that I had a discussion with the committee about the ramp. First of all, to have an ADA ramp would require us to seek additional space, because the ramp would have to come around, swoop around, and be the full length of the porch. Our daughter has a motorized wheelchair in which we bump her up the stairs. Additionally, we plan on putting a chair rail in case we have a hard time bumping her up someday. So there will be no physical ramp. That is why if we go back, the stairs are on the driveway side of the house, so that we will be able to get her right, if we have to, from the car up the small set of stairs, down the ramp, 360 turn through the front door.
So I'm clear. the front stairs are not there any longer? Or they are there, but we're not using those to bring your daughter up onto the roof?
No, the front stairs are still there,
They're still,
just
okay.
in case, you know, you want to use the front stairs and
Just
not the side stairs.
Clarification.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I have one question. Sure. Hi. I was trying to address it to the chairperson first, but. So, can you blow that up just a little bit?
Yeah.
So I think you had said that the existing house is already at 9.8 feet, but that's not the way that reads. It reads it's at 10.1. Am I right there?
Oh, you're right.
Okay.
From the latest survey.
Okay.
Okay.
But I guess what I'm gonna ask is, the house must be a little bit angled to the lot line. It's not totally, what's the word I'm looking for?
Parallel.
Parallel, perpendicular, parallel. Right, I should know my geometry. But it's not perfectly parallel to the lot line, so that's why if you wanna make, if the house look, the addition look correct, you're gonna be losing that little bit there. So it's the
Correct.
lot that's actually making you lose that, okay. I just wanted to make sure that I understood what you were saying.
Thank you. You verbalized that much better than I did, thank you. And what we're putting is another bedroom behind her bedroom, so that right now we sleep upstairs with monitors and it's very difficult. So we need another bedroom so we can be right there.
Bring up the front elevation.
Wayne, as far as an ADA ramp goes, does that fall into the setbacks?
No, they're excluded.
Right.
They're exempt, yeah.
So going forward, it's possible if it's necessary,
They could add it without having to come back.
well, I will come back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any further questions?
Letter of opposition.
No, you'll get your chance. Any further questions of these witnesses? Bill Worley? No. Okay.
Should we sit?
Thank you. Yeah,
Very-
you can have a
Very
seat.
carefully.
Okay,
Thank you.
All right, is there anyone here that would like to speak in favor of it, in favor?
Okay. Part of it is, part of it's in
Hold on.
favor, part isn't.
Oh, and when you do speak, if you could just go up to the,
Yeah, if you're,
you're gonna have to be sworn.
now,
Wait.
are you both gonna speak?
Yes.
Raise your right hand, please, that young lady will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your name and spell your last.
Christine Hurtubise, Hurtubise.
And your name, sir?
Paul.
Thank you.
Are you neighbors, or?
No,
We are, our daughter owns case set 477, 17 Aspen, which is right behind her house. She did write a letter in to James Manning on April 12th.
Did you say it's K477?
She put K 477, 17
Okay.
Aspen.
So she's on the,
She's
On the bend.
behind the wetlands area
Yep.
there.
she's,
Which one?
yes,
Right.
This one.
it's in your packet, you can see it.
Our main concern is with the construction, and this is a higher elevation, and the water level that's in the area now, the groundwater level. This whole area here, it's not just brush, it's a stream. Everything from here,
Everything
Ends
pitches
up-
down.
One at a time, please, so she,
everything end up pitches down into, even if, everything from that side, that side pitches down and runs into her yard, right in here. And everything from here runs down and right into this area. So every time it rains, she loses this whole area and this whole area of her yard every time it rains. Everything from the neighborhood, from there and there, just flows right into her yard. I mean, and she's written to town about the street. They said, well, just put a berm up here, you know, so it won't. But she does a berm here, it'll run right into her neighbor Linda's front yard. The water will just flow in it. Right now, it flows into here and right into her yard. And this area here flows into this stream area that's here. I don't know if the DMs have been out there to see, but it flows in here and floods this here and then comes down and totally floods this part of her yard right here. Makes it totally, a third of her yard is unusable every time it rains, because everything from the neighborhood floods into her yard because she's a lower elevation from everybody else. So her main concern is how this construction would affect the water level in the area and the runoff, or from the house and everything else.
The way, did they meet section 7 on this?
We did.
Okay, so at this time, if any construction, they can't increase any runoff. What goes off that property now, they can't send any more water in that direction.
Even with the new construction, like.
No, they have to,
downspouts and all that?
they have to prove to the town that they're gonna keep it on site. It won't exacerbate the issue at your daughter's, on your daughter's property.
Yeah, that's their main concern, because.
I mean, I know it's a difficult area, it's
Yeah,
the water
everything from the
table.
street runs into her yard, and all they said was, oh, just put a berm up. That's not gonna solve her problem or the neighbor's problem, because I don't know why this whole elevation, their in pictures that she's sent you before, their elevation actually pitches down towards, right down in this section, runs right into this area from their property and other properties. And there and into here, and then this whole area floods.
I can only assume that was done years ago.
Yeah, well, she's owned a house for 2.5 years.
Okay, yeah, but I imagine
Oh,
you people
Mr.
done?
Davis came, and Jeff Davis, and
Did
did,
an extensive study.
right, and we know we have to put in a rain garden. That was addressed, and so that will all be controlled. And I do have to tell you that not too long ago, I was on my deck and your renters were screaming for help, and so I ran back. Oh, here we go. I was gonna say, not a drop of water, not a drop. So, anyway,
In the way.
but it is a rain garden.
Well, we can show
did-
you pictures.
It's okay, we did get approval. We addressed it.
Excuse me.
I know, I'm
This isn't
sorry.
this isn't the coffee
I've
shop.
never seen this before. But anyway,
No.
22 years. But if, I just wanted,
Oh my God.
I don't know, he's gonna get mad at us, because she needs, only one person can speak to us.
Yes.
she's amazing.
She is amazing.
I'm
just-
off.
Yeah, so if you could.
Yes, I'm sorry, but anyway, we did, of course,
No.
Jeff Davis came to answer your question. The
Can
Italian.
I just read you from Sherry's letter? She's the owner. She couldn't be here tonight because she had a previous engagement out of town. But I'll go to the main opposition she had. She said her opposition is regard to the rear addition. She does not take any issue with the porch plans for mobility or accessibility. She said, I have 3 primary concerns outlined here in order of priority. Significance 1 is the impact of the flooding and the storm mitigation. Second is timing and duration of the project for noise impact for privacy. It says the area where these properties sit overlap neighboring wetlands due to more volatile weather, other construction projects in the area, and insufficient street drainage on Aspen Drive. Flooding in her yard has increased significantly over the past 2.5 years. There is a runoff stream directly, as my husband said, at the rear of the property between her lot and lot 24C. That leads towards the wetlands area. The level and capacity of the stream has exceeded what its surrounding land can absorb. capacity that could absorb, resulting in significant pooling in her yard after each storm. Lot 24C currently grades downward towards this stream. If the backyard of that lot gets an addition, which takes up additional land capacity, she has serious concerns about rising water table and water mitigation. She says, I have inquired in the town multiple occasions regarding the addition of a storm drain and other means to tackle the pooling from the street in the front of the property, and was told nothing could be done. This issue, combined with the yard pooling is from oversaturation and limited runoff paths, cannot afford to be exasperated by the nearby build. If the project is to proceed, she requests that all the plans be reviewed by the town engineering department with existing information in mind, as well as approved by Rhode Island DEM due to that stream. She also requests a licensed engineer to implement an adequate water mitigation plan for the runoff. She'd like to see the plan and understand how it will impact her property. She's also concerned about maintaining privacy with this addition. If that addition in the back were to tower above, she doesn't want people to look in her windows. Those were hers. She said, again, she has no concerns regarding modifications necessary to allow mobility and accessibility for the current owner's front porch and ramp. So I respectfully thank you for your time. That is her main concern.
Okay. Well, the town engineering has looked at and approved what is being proposed, and as I said, they
Can
cannot.
you do that in February, in the winter, when everything is frozen? Because that makes a
No,
huge
they
difference.
did it.
Excuse me, no,
Sorry.
excuse me. The engineering department, they go through the plans and they look at it. They understand the weather, what happens. I mean, it's a very difficult area. So what I'm saying now, they can't make it, the situation any worse than it is. Okay, they cannot put any more water than what is currently coming off that property onto your daughter's property.
And there's a plan in plan effect to do that with the build? Is there a plan in effect for that to happen?
Yes, it's the rain gardens are, I mean, obviously we've had, we had 12 inches of rain in the month of March. It didn't set a record, but it
No,
came.
even the last 2 years it's been like
Yeah.
this.
No, we've had some big rain events, there's no question about it. And the soils down in that area are terrible. But I mean, you've got to keep going to the town and talk and taking care, see if they can do something with the drainage on the road.
She's done that
You
many
know.
times without any result.
You know,
Like
I
I
mean-
said, they told her, well, you could build a berm on your front yard, but that would just run it right into,
That might take care of
Her
the front and
neighbors.
won't do anything for the back.
which would not be good.
No, I understand that, but it's the nature of the beast down there. There's certain criteria that the applicant has to meet, and they've met that as far as the engineering department goes. So that's, we've got to take that, I mean, they look at this stuff all the time. We see it all the time on the plans. So, it can't worsen the situation. If it does, then there's an issue.
Okay.
Okay? I mean, it's not, it's, I wish I had a better answer for you, but you're gonna have to fight with the town. You know, that's,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Mr.
welcome.
Chairman, may I ask a question on that?
oh, yes.
So, no, not,
No.
actually more, this is for point of clarification from my knowledge, is that okay to talk to?
Absolutely,
Okay,
sure.
so, I mean, I do know what you're talking about the letter, when they have to talk about the stormwater and the drainage. And they got that, a letter saying that they have to that the town reserves the right to require them to do, rain gardens and things like that to make sure that the stormwater stays is not affected. Is that part of the conditions of the conditions that are here? No.
The letter's already been submitted by the engineering department.
Okay.
approving it.
So, but
No.
but we don't see that in the project summary.
No,
That's
just
not, okay.
Item D talks about the approval from the engineering department.
I'm sorry,
Ms.
where?
Cordell?
It's condition 2, that all conditions of
Got
the
it.
February 2nd.
Got it.
Wait a
Thank
minute,
you.
wait a minute. That all conditions what?
That all conditions of the
I see.
February 2nd, 2024 approval letter from the engineering department are strictly adhered to.
I see it now.
So it's a finding of fact as well as a condition.
Got it. Missed
Mr.
it.
Chairman,
Missed
just to make a point, construction activity is exempt from the noise ordinance, so I know that was brought up as.
Right.
So just so they know that there's nothing we can do for construction.
And the hours are what, 7
7 to
a.m.?
9
7 to 9,
on Monday through Sunday,
right.
except holidays.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, is there anyone else? Okay, Chair would entertain a motion that we close this public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, that motion carries 5-0. In regards to Valorelli, what is the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, with regard to project summary, Valorelli Tax Assessors Plat K, Lot 24C. I make a motion that we incorporate the findings of fact from the project summary, and in addition, we incorporate the letter that was received from the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Hurtubise. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, Sherry Hurtubise.
With regard to this project. The applicant is seeking relief from section 6.4, the dimensional regulations. They're seeking a 6.2 front yard setback variance and a 0.2 left side yard setback variance. We heard from the applicant, Mrs. Judy Valorelli and Mr. James Valorelli, as to what the project is going to entail, and talking about the relief that they're requesting. The reasons for the relief are to add an addition in the back, to add a bedroom, to be able to be closer to have a bedroom on the first floor, and to add a front deck to provide access and for mobility purposes for their daughter who uses a wheelchair. So in support of the project, Mr. and Mrs. Valorelli testified in support of the project. In opposition to the project, we had testimony from Ms. Christine Hurtubise and Mr. Paul Hurtubise, who are the parents of the owner of an adjacent property. The owner did submit a letter regarding concerns for that the construction of the new project would disturb the water levels and the runoff, and I do believe that in addition to, there's a finding of fact that the engineering department has already issued the letter approving the projects and approving the project and has set forth the conditions with respect to dealing with the drainage. The project, so that's the only relief requested is the front yard setback and the left side setback. So I submit those as the findings of fact.
I'll second.
A motion been made and properly seconded to enter the findings of fact into the record. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries 5-0.
May I amend the findings of fact to add that the planning board found the project to be in conformance with the comprehensive plan and that they voted to approve the project 5-0.
So,
I'll amend my second.
all right. Again, we have an amended motion and an amended second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries 5-0.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to project summary, Valarelli, tax assessors Plat K, lot 24C, I move that we approve the relief requested. The testimony that was given today and the facts indicate that the conditions, the standards that are met have been met, that the hardship is not from the hardship that they seek relief from is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land, that it's not the result of any prior action of the applicant, and the general character of the surrounding area will not be altered by granting this relief, and the relief is in fact the least relief necessary for this. In addition, the hardship that will be suffered if we do not grant this relief will amount to more than a mere inconvenience. And there was no testimony that the applicants wish to make their home more profitable by doing some of this work. So I move that we approve this request and the variance, the variances that are requested with the conditions set forth in the project summary.
Second.
A motion has been made and properly seconded to grant the relief requested with conditions. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries 5-0. Good luck,
Thank
folks.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Jill, you don't have any for us this evening?
No. I believe Heidi, thank you Heidi, sent out the decision template for you for the new 2024 changes. You will, next month, you will start to see them come through. So for the next couple of months, you'll start to have hybrid applications. We had a couple go through planning the other day, and you'll know right away because the setbacks are not yet the standard setbacks we're used to, 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, they're different. And we have updated the project summaries accordingly with the relief that would be necessary. So we've removed, lease variance necessary, and a couple of the others we've augmented as needed. If you guys take a look at that, we can do it in May if you like, that decision template, if everyone's all set with that. I don't know if legal's looked at it yet, but I would presume you will before next month. And I can take draft off that, and then you can use it.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it? All right.
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Well done as usual. All right, Chair would entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion carries 6-0. Thank you everyone for your effort this evening.
Thank you for discussions on 100.
For